bus rounds the corner. It's another year, another proud child whose sorrow stands unspoken. They know she's leaving to survive. If somebody wants to be somebody. Hey guys, welcome in tonight to a special edition. I roped Dino back in here tonight in advance of our nice little trek out to Uniontown here. Dino got me interested in and alerted me to the fact that there's this new shed out there near Uniontown that's not that far from here. And believe it or not, we're going to go see what everybody's saying is the real sound of Yes, the new John Anderson band here the day after the July the 4th. Dino, what do you think about that, man? What are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and the funny thing was, I'm on a lot of social media, and I was on a Yes. They were announcing the Yes show at the Warner, which is Steve Howe and Downs and a bunch of guys. But one guy commented on John Anderson, and then we took over that whole thread. And everyone that's been at that show were like, "I was there last night, amazing." I went in Tampa, saw them last year. Oh my God. And it was just like we took over the Yes thread with John Anderson reviews.
And he's so old. I see the live versions of it. He's so old, and it's bothering. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to riff too much on Yes. We got to come on.
Yeah, but
we're here for the
comes
laws,
later.
right? I mean, we're here for the laws.
Later,
Dino, tell me if you would introduce these folks to the wonderful thing of the band and this record, which in my estimation is one of the masterpieces of the era. And
push it over a little bit so they can see the rest of it this way. No, turn it around, but that way. Yeah, so they can't see the title right now. There we go. The eyeball album.
There you go.
That's it. Probably this album has been named. I mean, it's been covered by bands like it's been covered by Pearl Jam. They've been covered by Robbie Williams, and one of the best pure pop albums in the last. I mean, this album basically was released in 1990 in the UK, but definitely one of the best just pure pop albums in the last 40 years, I would say. I've listened to it over and over again. I've got unreleased tracks. I've got the BBC. I don't know if you heard the BBC.
I have
session. That thing's great.
That is great.
It's just they're an unbelievable band. I mean, of course, Lee Mavers, who wrote the entire album. I mean, everything credited to Lee Mavers.
Now, what do you think about that, Dino? Is that real? Because later on, as they got on, I think Joe Power started to do it, and he really kind of let him be kind of a spokesman for it. I think it's weird that he dominated so many, but the songs are so good. You don't have anything like I just did something on the Lemon Twigs. You're talking about Oasis. Both of those bands are both of those are kind of retro, and this has a lot of retro sound to it. But it doesn't eschew any of the greater production, the sound, the 12 strings, the way they put things together are reminiscent. Everything. But I don't think it's much. It sounds a lot like the Stones. A couple of these songs.
Yeah. Noel Gallagher, I think what he said from Noel Gallagher from Oasis said that their band's mission was to finish what the Laws started so many years ago.
This album, I love every song. Of course, everybody knows There She Goes from that stupid Sixpence None the Richer thing, which is ridiculous. So they're kind of a Christian band. I mean, I don't mind that, but I just think it's strange that they would do that song. And it's such a beautiful thing. If you look at them do it on Letterman and such, you can see that the Lee from the Letterman band are really.
What's your favorite track on right now? Right now, if I ask you, what's your favorite track on the album?
Probably Timeless. Timeless, probably still.
I love that. Timeless Melody.
Me too.
What do you think mine is?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Way Out?
Doldrum.
I looked at Doldrum first, and I said, Doldrum's got that thing after you because when you first get the record, There She Goes is like a shock. I mean, what's shocking to me when I look through this, Dino, was that it didn't really do anything when it was released as a single. They did a couple singles
It,
before they got their record
yeah,
out, but then we get into the fiasco of them recording over and over, and finally the goat
yeah.
is saying, "Look, man, you bankrupted us. We got to put this freaking." They've got Steve Lillywhite, and they finally just said, "You're not vetoing this." And then my understanding is Mavers went out and said, "Don't anybody buy this. This sucks." I mean,
Yeah.
what?
Well, the weird thing about the album, it's only 35 minutes. There's
Yeah,
what, 12 tracks in
yeah,
35 minutes? No, all thriller, no filler. I
yeah.
love short songs, man. If you can't tell a story in 2 minutes, get the hell off the block. You know what I mean?
Pretty good, man. It's
And
pretty
they
good.
do, man. They do.
They do.
Doldrum, Way Out, Looking
Yeah,
Glass, I Can't Sleep is amazing.
I do too. I love it.
Liberty Ship, Son of a Gun to open the album. I mean, it's just full of stuff.
And the
Feeling is
thing is,
amazing.
and I find it bizarre that There She Goes is like put usually in the position of the also ran
Yeah,
track, that the last song to make it in the next to last or whatever, some inconsequential place on it. It's unbelievable to me. But
certainly a good track, but there's
yeah.
so many other
Oh, I know,
great
I
tracks
know.
on the
I'm just
album.
talking craft wise, writing wise. I just think it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and you've got, I like Looking Glass a lot too. I mean, I think this,
Oh yeah.
you just listen to this over and over and over, and I don't know what, but tell me about that whole deal about what you know about them recording over and over the stuff. Whether
Yeah, I
they
mean,
had
you've probably read more about that than I had, but I knew that it was multiple producers, and the last producer was Lily White, right? Was
right,
that
they had the Smiths guy. I'll tell you the order. They had the Smiths guy, John Porter, the early
John
Smiths
Porter,
guy. Then they had John Leckie, who did the XTC and was the big name for the Fall and everything else.
Mekons? He worked with the Mekons, yeah.
And then Mike Hedges was the one before, and then
Oh
and then
yeah,
finally,
Lily
and
White,
both those guys. The thing of it is, neither you'll never get either of them to say anything bad. They like the music, but evidently
yeah,
this guy had like some thing where he was trying to capture that I don't think is possible, and he really couldn't put his finger on it. Very
right.
strange, man. But
The
Neil
whole thing,
Mavers had used an old 1964 drum kit. They used vintage gear, but they didn't engineer the thing, poorly. Like, I think I joked with Jay about Neil Young's record that he put out where he deliberately used that fucking thing in Jack White's thing where you can't hear it.
right,
It interfering with the
right,
signal. And I'm like, you're going too far there, man. I mean, I
yeah.
don't mind, but this is the opposite of it. I think the Laws played their music, but they took advantage of the full sonic spread, and I think that's what makes it better than any fucking Oasis album that there is. I mean, in my opinion,
Oh yeah,
I think it's way
this
better.
thing obliterates any pop album that I've heard from the UK. If I hear something good, I'll go back and listen to this and go, it's good, but it ain't that good. You know what I mean? It's like it's good, but it's not Law's good. It's not Lee Mavers good. You know,
It's
and
funny. It's 1990. Do you call it a 90s record? Do you call it an 80s record? Really, it's got more of a spirit of like a Stone 60s with that kind of big
or
British
'70s, late
echo
'70s
chambers.
British.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I don't. It is timeless. The songcraft is amazing. The band was tight. I mean, and the fact that they just didn't do anything after. I mean, it's like it's a one and done. You know,
Yeah,
Lee Mavers has been spotted out over the years. Different places and
yeah.
he's
I
been
think
approached.
yeah, he comes out once in a while, whips out the songs, and makes some money. I think I just saw he did that
It's just
recently. But the thing that
yeah,
the thing that is just so stunning is that it never went anywhere after that, and it seemed to implode through their own their own direction. Did you? I think that they did they went on a promotional tour, and
yeah.
you were telling me about you had a little bit of a
Oh my God.
encounter.
I saw them. I saw them in Orlando, Florida. And it had to be 91 when they got the US release.
Yes.
Now they played, I look back, they played dates in DC and Baltimore or DC and Boston, New
It
York,
said they played
Chicago.
support slots. Yeah, they played support to Paul Weller, Dodgy, and a couple Oasis dates
Yeah, and
in 91.
they had when they first came over there, they had some club shows too, and I think
Hmm.
they played the 9:30, maybe the Rat in Boston. They played in New York for sure, their own club dates.
Yeah, they said they
But
had various other performers
yeah,
other than Lee and the bass player.
well, this is the wildest, weirdest story you'll ever hear. So anyway, during that time, that first trip over, right,
Hmm.
91. So I had moved to Orlando from California, and I was working then, a lot going on. I was busy a lot, and at that time, nobody came to Florida. Like I mean, occasionally you get somebody in, but that was in like a couple years. But really, there's local punk bands and the normal people. Most bands that you wanted to see stopped in Atlanta.
Right.
That was
You're right.
it. They
You're
come
right.
to Atlanta, and other than that, for them it was a wasteland. They wouldn't even come down.
Darren lived in
Bands that
Jacksonville, man. I know. I checked out
uh,
the thing. I was shocked at how bad the scene was. There's just no support there at all.
there
I mean,
was a
I
cool
guess.
bar in Jacksonville called the Milk Bar. After the Milk Bar and Clockwork Orange,
Oh yeah.
they got some good bands occasionally, but they had a skinhead problem too.
Uh,
So, um, but down in Orlando, they get anything. So I'm riding around, and it must have been like a Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Now I had bought that album on cassette because I still had a cassette in my car. So I bought the cassette at one of my local used record places. They had new too, and I bought it, and I never took that out of the cassette player for like 2 or 3 weeks. It ran constantly, right?
I had a cassette too. Same thing in
So
my car.
I'm listening to this top 40 shitbag radio station in the area, right? And they go, this Saturday coming up at like the Sheraton or the Hilton poolside bar in like Orlando, whatever, WBBZ, whatever the hell the shit top 40 station was in Orlando. The Laws from London are going to be playing, and then I knew this place, and I'm like, there's nowhere to play. There's a hut where like Jimmy Buffett impersonators and steel drum bands play next to the pool. That's what it was. It was a tourist pool. It in a big
Polygram, man. Polygram.
in a big
Polygram
hotel.
blew this so big, so bad.
So here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking. I kept hearing the ad for the next
Unbelievable.
few days. So I thought they got it wrong, and it was going to be a listening party by
Okay.
Polydor Record.
Of course.
And they were going to
Of
give
course.
away
You couldn't have a show
swag.
there.
They were going to give away swag, and they were
Yeah.
going to get, you know what I mean? Give away some albums, some cassettes,
I
maybe
mean,
a CD.
you're literally talking a hotel pool, like the
A
Beach Boys.
hotel pool bar in a tourist area,
Yeah,
the
this is
biggest
like
tourist
this.
area in Orlando.
It's kind of like Beach Boys and the Annette
A
movie.
bunch of Madonna fans is
Yeah.
what it was.
Wow.
so,
Wow.
so I literally go to this hotel bar at
Polygram.
noon on a Saturday, and I see the banner for the radio station and everything, and I'm like, they must got money from the record label, and they're doing this listening party. So I walk to the up wherever, and there's probably 50 people maybe milling around, splashing in the pool, and about four goths I see like standing there. They're all gothed up, they got their, from the Orlando area, and me.
Too cool for the pool. I got you, man.
Yeah, but they're there for the band. They're the
Is it
only
God?
people who knew who the band was. The
Oh
rest of
my
them were
God.
tourists milling around the pool. So I walk up to this tiki hut, and I see the bass drum, and it says The Laws on the bass drum. And I'm like, I see guitars and bass, drums and amps in this little tiki hut. And I talk to the goths, and I go, hey, dude, listen, I got to tell you, the band's not really here, right? This isn't. And they go, yeah, look over there. So I look under this umbrella, and there's these three or four white guys, pale white, you know, deathly afraid of the sun, and they've got beers all over the table. And I'm like, oh man, it is them. So I walk up to the table when I was like, Lee Mavers. He's like, oh hey man, how you doing? they're trashed already. They realize where they are, but they're already there. So they've got all the beer they can drink. There's girls running around in bikinis, right? Young girls. It's the hotel. I talked to them for a few minutes, and they're like, "Yeah." I was like, the first thing I said to them, and Mavers, he laughed. He just busted out laughing. I go, "What in the fuck are you doing here?" He goes, "Oh man." I'm just like, he starts laughing. He goes, and they're all like, "Yeah, we thought the same thing." And I go, "Are you actually going to play? Or are you just going to drink today?" And he goes, "No, no, we got to play, man." And I was like, "Let me tell you one thing. The fucking album is balls, man. It's balls to the. I can't stop listening to it for the last 3 weeks. And the
Now, what did he
amazing
say
thing,
to you? What did he
and
say?
he's like, "Oh, man, I appreciate it. We were trying to work on the album. We hope it's good, but we're not sure." And I'm like, "It's fucking perfect." And they're the rest of the guys are just like, and I look and I'm talking to Lee, he's right here, and I go, "It's fucking perfect." He goes, "You think so?" And I go, "No, I don't think so. I know so. This album is unlike anything that I've heard in many, many
Wow, you
years."
told it right to the
And
guy's face.
he goes, "Well, you gonna hang around and have one?" I said, "I'm gonna have more than one." and they go, "Well, fuck." And the manager's there. He goes, "Oh, you guys gotta go." So they go. They walk over to this tiki hut and they plug in. Now, no one is paying attention. They're all splashing in the pool, and they're like, "What the hell's it?" They thought it was just some, local band. These people don't even understand. Nobody showed up from the promo was a bunch of young kids that listen to Madonna and shit. And me and the Goss are there, and a couple, maybe a punk or two showed up from the area. But there's like a half dozen of us that know the band. They're up front. The rest of the people aren't. They're just listening. They aren't even paying attention. So here's what they did for like the next 3 hours. they,
3 hours.
they listen. Here's the deal. Because the promo went from like 1 to 5, right? So they would play like 3 songs, and then they were like, "All right," and then they put their instruments down and they'd start drinking again. And then they'd wait like half hour, 45 minutes, and they go plug in again, and they play another 2 or 3 songs, and they put their instruments down,
That's all.
and they
So
go.
their sets were like short.
They were just like 2 or 3 songs. But the cool thing was they
That's
got
kind of
through
cool, though.
the entire fucking album while I was there. I got to hear the whole album, but
Uh,
in little segments. And the farther they went, the more they drank. So by then they were doing like really freeform versions. Like they realized we were the only ones paying any attention, right up front, and the rest of them were just off in the pool and shit. So they did the entire album in segments and drank all afternoon. And then around 4 o'clock, they were like, "All right." They finished like the last 2 or 3, and they were like, "All right, thank you." And that was it. They're done.
you
They
probably
packed
heard the
up.
most broad. Yeah, you probably heard the most
It
broad
was
version of that ever because that was why allegedly Power left was because they kept playing the same set. He wouldn't play any new songs.
and it was great. They were playing the same set, but it were like different versions because they were getting drunker, and they were realized they were at a venue that was absolute shit. So it was
I just
it
it's
was
unbelievable.
like I've talked to people and no one has ever. Well, most people never saw them. Like
No, I
I
didn't.
hardly ever run into anyone's song.
No, I
But the
saw them
fact
when
that
they
I
played
saw them,
on Letterman. I saw them on TV.
there
On
would have been
Letterman.
more people in your basement at your house
Yeah.
if you invited them to see the
Yeah.
band that was there. So they
Wow.
got paid by the label. They had to come and do the promo. It was a record big top 40 station of all places to have them, but there was nobody else to sponsor them except this top 40 station.
Well, when you look at
And
the figures, we were talking about it, Dino, and there's, if you look at the success of the record in England and in Europe
it's,
and in all over the world and how it did
yeah.
jack shit in the United States, it's
It did,
embarrassing,
yeah. Well, of
and
course, but
Waldorf
and they
fame.
realized like that gig especially reinforced all their. But no, they had great times because they ended up in New York and Boston and L.A. and San Francisco. They had good Chicago. They had good crowds,
Oh yeah,
and they
yeah.
they they played club shows. But that might have been if I could have talked to them and they remembered a couple years later, that was probably the biggest debacle of a show that they were involved in.
Was
Playing a
that
tiki
before?
bar
Did
in,
they do Letterman before that or after that?
I can't remember if that was before or after Letterman. I'll have to look. I saw the Letterman gig,
Yeah,
and I think,
it's just two of
uh,
them.
yeah, yeah. But I'm telling you, I think it was the band when I saw them. See, it's been 34 years, so my memory's clouded. But
Well, it
I
would have to
do
be.
have pictures. I have pictures from an old Kodak Instamatic, and I've got to get them to our producer Joe if I can find him. He can scan. It shows the band set up in a tiki hut. It's just like I've told people over the years how I saw them, and everyone thinks I'm lying. Like
Oh,
no
I don't
one
think you're
believes
lying
that
at all,
story.
man. Yeah,
No one, but
you.
I couldn't fucking believe it. When I walked onto that poolside, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe I was seeing one of the best pop bands of the last 30 years in a tiki bar in Orlando next
And
to
then
a
now
pool.
moving on, what happened after that? I mean, they got back a couple times and tried to start recording, and nothing happened. And
Nothing happened.
it's weird. And now Lee Mavers rounds the troops up and makes some holiday money once in a while and plays a song. It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
That's really all he does, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's been offered absolute tons of cash to put anything back together and tour, you know, and do the album. But he's turned it down. I think he's turned it down, you know.
Well, I mean, I think you could easily launch him at any of those big festivals. Any European festival,
Oh,
any
my
of
God, people would come out in droves. In absolutely
Coachella,
droves.
even in the U.S., they'd be huge too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, anyway, I guess hats off to them, man. That was a great story here. Anybody else have any thoughts about this masterpiece? Let us know. But again, this is a one of a kind thing, and really the story of the band of complete
You know,
bafflement.
and that's probably I've seen a lot of bands all over the country in different ways and different places and just walking in the door and in small clubs and then a year later they're playing to 100,000. But I've never seen anything like that Laws gig. It was just it was just fantastic.
Promo, man. Some of those things that Paul Abdul made them do, man. It's just they really blew it with this record. I mean, with they're trying to
They
get to
really
the
did,
so,
you
but
know, and it
it
was
was
so
scary.
good, man. It
Yeah.
was so good, you know.
Well,
And
anyway, hats
it's
off
like
from us.
somebody stumbling in. For me, it's like somebody stumbling into a bar and seeing the Beatles in Germany, and you know
Yeah,
that's what it was like for me to see them because they were the Brit pop band
yeah.
of the last. I mean, it's been 34 years since I saw that gig. So yeah,
And just such a shame that's all we got. You mentioned some of the other releases besides just Dino briefly.
yeah,
Uh,
like the BBC sessions. That was they did a BBC sessions. They've had the Lost Laws. They've tried to repackage this album in many different ways too. That's been done, you know. But
well,
there's not a month that goes by I probably don't listen to this album, or at least parts of it. You know, it's on damn near every playlist I have.
so you would have it. It would definitely make your all-time list
Oh God,
of top
it
100. Top 100. It would definitely make your top 100 of all time.
top 100. It could be in my top 10. You
Whoa,
know, yeah,
big.
yeah, it could be in my top 10. And that's
I think it's
the listen to this. Here's another thing, and I don't know if I have it anymore. I think it's gone, but I know one thing: if it's still in my belongings, it's worth hundreds of dollars. I had the tour shirt with the album cover, and it had the dates on the back.
oh my god. And you got it at
Yes,
that gig.
I got it. They were nobody. They didn't sell anything. They didn't sell it. Nobody was buying anything, and I went, "Oh, I'd love to have." It's a white shirt with the album cover, and
Yeah.
then on the back it said "Laws, United States," and it had like five,
Wow.
6, 8 gigs on it.
Wow.
Yeah, if I find that,
Find
that's a
that. We'll
gold
scan
mine.
that one too, bud.
It's a gold
We'll
mine.
have to we'll have to put
Yeah,
that back on. Anyway, thanks
if
everybody.
that's an
Leave your
original.
thoughts. Everybody, leave
Yeah.
your thoughts. Everybody, leave your thoughts about Lee Mavers, the laws, please. your
Absolutely.
lists, anything we say, and we're gonna come back at you guys again with something else
And
strong.
if anyone's got any stories about seeing them, whether it's been in the UK, in the States, or in anything, I'd love to hear what your story was. Were they opening? Were they playing a club? Were they headlining? I'd just love to hear it. You know.
Me too. Me too. Me too. What a mysterious band. I mean, you hardly have one that just has one record like this and fades away. But my God,
Yeah,
not
they're still here.
not a second wasted. Really
No, like I always say, all thriller, no filler. Just every tune is man.
fantastic.
And like I said, I was listening to Doldrum the other day because it popped up on my list. I love that tune, man.
I do too. I like that riff, that acoustic guitar riff. It's really
Yeah, don't
it's
go
very
back to
very
Doldrum.
Stooges. It reminds you like something from out of December's Children or Out of Our Heads or something. I love it.
It is. It does. It's
It's not.
got it's he wears his influences on his sleeve.
Oh,
Lee
yeah.
Mavers says. Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank
All
everybody. You
right,
leave your
man.
thoughts like Dino says, and we'll catch you guys next time, man.
Yeah, the laws never going away. Thanks. See ya.
Somebody